Hello, everyone. I'm sorry I came late today. I'm sorry I came late. I had something that I could not put off. So, Paul, I saw you came to class, and I apologize for not being here. But you have to admit it's an exception, and I'll try not to make that exception again. Here we go. Yesterday, if you remember, we're learning about this week's Torah portion, Miketz. And Miketz is talking about how Yosef becomes the king of Egypt and thereby virtually the leader of the whole entire world, and he saves the whole world from famine. And the whole business came from dreams. That first of all, he had dreams about his brothers, and then he was thrown into prison, and the minister of wine and bread had their dreams, and Paro had his dreams, and nobody could interpret it, and Joseph got out. And by that, he became the king of the world, the ruler of the world, and he saved the world. There was food for everybody to eat. But all of this was also only a preface for the main point of this whole story, and that is that because Joseph became the king and he saved the whole world from famine, so part of the world were his brothers and his father, and they had to come down to Egypt to buy food because that was the only place there was food because of Joseph's advice, right? That Joseph's plan to save up the food in the plentiful years. So they went down to buy food. And when they both got, and then Joseph revealed himself to them, and they stayed there. And eventually, from this comes the Jewish people. And shortly thereafter, the Jewish people are very many. They multiplied, as the women had 6 children at a time. And in no time, there was like, 15, 20 million Jews all there. And they were all servants and they were all slaves. It says that the tribe of Levi was not. They still remained in this place called Goshen. However, it is the Jews were slaves, and this all set the stage, the slavery of the Jews, of the miraculous birth of the Jewish people, the 10 plagues, the splitting of the sea, bread from heaven, water from a rock, clouds that surrounded them. They received the Torah. They wandered through the desert. They went into the land of Israel. All these big miracles. That's the Jewish people, but it all came from dreams. Says the Rebbe, in dream time, it was exile time. Exile time. And in fact, we are now in exile, and this whole exile is a big dream. Dream, on one hand, is very bad because a dream is not reality. You think it's reality, but it's not. But there's one good thing about a dream, and that is that there can be a transition from bad to good in one instant. That bad and good can exist simultaneously, and suddenly the good becomes revealed, and the bad is dominant, has the good outweighed 1,000,000 to 1, and all of a sudden pops up. And that's basically the miracle of Hanukkah, and that's basically the miracle of Jews. Here we are, Jewish people. We're like 2% of the world. No, less than that. We're like 0.02% of the world. And there's anti-Semitism is always popping up, and we're always this. And the Jews themselves hate themselves. And nevertheless, here we are. And we're still existing, And the Babylonians and the all these other nations, the Phoenicians, who knows, they're gone. The Greeks are now different Greeks, and then the Romans are different Romans, and all these countries that conquered us, they're just totally okay. But mostly is not so much about the other nations. We're talking about ourselves. A Jew himself can be conquered by his own negative feelings, his own ignorance, simple lack of education of what Judaism is. And even when he knows what it is, he just doesn't believe it. You can't blame him. And his feeling of inferiority, which you can't blame him for that either. But the fact of the matter is like a dream. In one instant, all of a sudden, everything can turn around and the good can be revealed. Especially the Rebbe points out that really what the dream is the not good things. The good things, permanent things, they're not a dream. But they seem to be unreal because we're in a dream. But the fact is that God exists and the Torah is true and the Jewish people are eternal and that the world is basically good and that man is made in God's image. All these things are true. And everything that seems to be the contrary, that's just part of this big confusion, which is called the dream. So therefore, as far as deed goes, you can take a Jew that does not know anything about Torah, or that he doesn't want to have any connection whatsoever to the Torah. He only has bad ideas about the Torah and wants to keep as far away from it as possible. And he has all sorts of justifications, and they could be, very verified, and they could be true. Nevertheless, you can take a Jew like that. He's ultimately far away from Torah and from Judaism and this, and in 1 second, pop, you can just transform, teach him Torah. And even if it's the type of Jew that says it's forbidden to teach him Torah, right, because he's just going to misuse it, now we're in dream time. And that what it was said that you shouldn't teach him Torah, that was talking about normal times. So you can teach him Torah. Does alt is nit nor, this is not only regarding the revealed Torah, teaching him laws and teaching him Talmud, also the secrets of the Torah. And the conduct which comes from that, and the conduct and the customs which come from the secrets of the Torah. According to this teaching from the rabbis say, it says, now you can grab a hold of the Torah whenever you can, learn Torah. You should grab hold and eat it, and grab and drink it. Drink is the inside of the Torah, which is similar to water. Hagam is mid-Torah for you, the previous generations. You couldn't do that teaching the inside secrets of the Torah until a person, first of all, had many preparations. Is aber, but it is, however, in the Hainta, but now in our generations, mitzvah legalos dosachachma, the secrets of the Torah, the ideas of the creative power of God and these upper worlds and the sphirot and the it's a mitzvah to reveal this. 1 second, somebody fell down. I have to go and help them all. 1 second. And the secrets of the Torah, the mysteries of the Torah, can be learned by everyone now, and especially after Chassidut came along, through the Baal Shem Tov and through the Alter Rebbe. Zainin Nachfallen and the Alter Rebbe, the first Rebbe of Chabad, they came along after the Baal Shem Tov. Is thus given, this is a Zoy V'Aler Chalakim, like all the other. Now the secrets of the Torah become like all the other parts of the Torah. Was yeder that every single Jew is Dach Mechuyev, is obligated to learn all the portions of the Torah. What is this idea of the secrets of the Torah? Let's just say, now it's not such big secrets. So let's take a simple example. That when a Jew does a commandment, he gives pleasure to God. How can he give pleasure to God? Because the commandments are basically the will of God. And when God's will is done by us, so it gives God pleasure. This aspect of God's pleasure, this is called God's crown, Keter, the crown of God. If we do the Torah with our will, then this evokes by God a similar reaction. And this is a very basic, another idea of the secrets of the Torah, that everything that we do here has an effect on God. It's called an arousal from below, brings an arousal from above. This, of course, this is one idea. Another idea of the secrets of the Torah is that every Jew, what it means, every Jew is the son of God, means that we come from God's essence. And it explains in the Tanya, especially in the second chapter of the Tanya, what it means from God's chachma, from God's will, from this. Then there's also other ideas. For instance, hashgacha pratit. Everything in the world is directed by God and is part of a big, huge plan. So the upper, deepest secrets are expressed specifically in this physical lowest world. Anyway, by this conduct of taking any type of Torah that you can and learning it, revealed Torah, or teaching it to people that seemingly are not ready, says the Rebbe, nowadays everyone's ready. As men vet sich nit rechnen, don't make any, how do you say, accounting, mitten eigenem Zustand. A person could say, okay, listen, maybe, the Rebbe is saying you have to teach everybody, even if the person is not ready, but I'm not ready to teach. Who am I? I don't know anything. Says, forget about who you are. You know something. See men halt thereby on it, if you think you can be a teacher or not. Nor men vet halten in ein meren in Torah mitzvahs, was das is ähnlich zu dem Inyan from Chalom. Even if you are in, just one second, give me one instant here. Give me one instant. Excuse me one second. Yeah. Yeah. Oh. Oh, Maren, I see Mir. But I'm sorry. Maren means to more in English. More. I wasn't acquainted with this word. And Ein Maren in Torah or mitzvahs. You should always keep increasing in Torah and commandments. And you should always, the Rebbe once said, if you know only 2 letters of Torah, Aleph, Beit, of the alphabet, Aleph, Beit, then find somebody who doesn't know Beit and teach him Beit. Right? Knows only Aleph, teach him the letter Beit. Is durach them, by means of this, Maren, by increasing them or the light from Torah and commandments, as nemt men avek, them gullus, you can remove the slumber state of exile, when men bring to them emissary, you can bring the true light of your redemption. V men zed, like you can see, as a shad men lichtig, when it's bright outside, as chap men zich schlaf, then a person can wake up. Someone turns on the lights. Hey, who turned on the lights? What does is the Einweisung, this is the teaching from them, was cholomos, why dreams, Zain and Gaven, Asibar, the reason for exile of Egypt and also of leaving Egypt. Gullus Mitzrayim, the exile that the Jews were in Egypt, is given their schwerster Gullus. It was the most difficult exile of all. It says that, first of all, everyone was in exile. They had to work hard, and their identity, their hope was totally gone. There was no hope. Their parents had been slaves, their grandparents had been slaves, and their great-grands had been slaves. So the Jew was synonymous with a slave. Therefore, Veren all Galius, therefore it was the most difficult exile. Therefore, all the exiles are also called Mitzrayim. All the exiles are called Egypt. From Deswegen, nevertheless, is Mendavka Dorach them only by means of this exile. One second. Only by means of this exile, Tzukommen, can we arrive at Acharei Ken Yatsu B'Berchush Gadol. You go out with a tremendous riches. Riches doesn't mean monetary riches, but monetary riches is not bad. But that's not what it means. It means that the reason that we are in exile is in order to reveal the true hidden riches, treasure, which is in every detail of the creation. Azoy oich is Itzter Gullus, and the exile that we are in now. In Egypt, they were in exile 210 years. Now we've been almost 2,000 years since the second temple is destroyed. Chach the Gansen, because the whole service in them site in the time from exile is an Inyan from Chalom. It's a dream. I mean, a little bit of an explanation over here. What does it mean we're in exile? I mean, really, in the second temple, there were times when the Greeks ruled all over us. And not only that, the Jews were doing really sort of bad sins over there. And God really the temple was only existing on God's patience. But, God had every right, if he wanted to destroy the second temple almost from the beginning. In the beginning, there was all sorts of contention and all sorts of going on over there. But as long as the Jewish people are not in the land of Israel, that's called exile. And basically, the Jews have not really all been in the land of Israel, except in the time of the first temple. Even in the time of the second temple, there was a lot of Jews that were not there. Only in the first temple were they really there. But because there was the temple, so we say that wasn't the time of exile. Exile really began when the second temple was destroyed, in its true sense, so to speak. We were kicked out of the land of Israel. We were not allowed to make a settlement over there, to come back over there. And even now, when we came back, it's based on not being holy. It's based on that there's no such thing as holiness. So it's sort of like, how do you say, surrendering to the principles of exile, letting the exile rule in the Holy Land. That, at least when the Jews were exiled from Egypt, from Israel, so they knew that Israel was holy. But now they came back and they said, listen, Israel is also not holy anyway. Okay, will you let me in? Oh yeah, sure. If you say it's not holy, you can call them back in. But the fact is that Israel is holy, and the Jewish people are holy, even those people who say that they are not, but they're all holy. So it says, therefore, why do they think this confusion? Because we're in a dream, and in a dream, everything goes. A person could think that he's an elephant. A person could think that the next moment he's in France and he's flying on the moon, and that he has legs like rocket ships. Everything goes crazy in a dream. Your identity is messed up, but that does not negate the fact that there is truth. It just becomes confused. So it's therefore now is mitzad dem gufa, because the fact that as is an ofen chamalom, because now the exile we are in is like a dream. So we can know that there's certain things that you don't have to really pay attention to. The confusion, that's just part of the dream state. But there is nevertheless truth. A dream presupposes that there's truth. It's based on something. As ken men zich oif chappen, therefore can wake ourselves up. So a hecher madriga to a higher level, in an open and away, from iber springen, we can jump over. Iber springen, right? We can jump over. Un merin, and increase the light of Torah and commandments. Was thus is nemt avek, which just takes away the sleep from exile. So in other words, what can we do now? We're just waiting for God to do it. No, we can turn on the lights, more Torah, more commandments, and we can bring them to the result of just like we left Egypt, we will wake up from this dream, and we will like King David says in the Psalms, Shir Hamalot, Mashiach will come and illuminate the whole entire world with meaning, happiness, blessing, and love. Have a good day with Mashiach. Now, God willing, tomorrow we will finish the Dvar Malchut that we started today. Again, I apologize not being here at 3:00. Shalom uvracha, Chanukah Sameach. Haneros, hallelujah. Here we get a special. Haneros, hallelujah. Haneros, hallelujah. Haneros, hallelujah. Hallelujah. Haneros, hallelujah. Anu madlikim al hachuos. Ayadai. Haneros, neros, hallelujah. Anu madlikim al hachuos ve'al hanisim ve'al haniflaos. She'atisis salamosenu she'asis salamotenu v'yomim b'zman hazeh v'yomim b'zman hazeh al yedei koyanecha akadoshim 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 lehoidos la'alel lehoidos la'alel l'shemcha agadol. Skip the part. Lehoidos la'alel lehoidos la'alel l'shemcha agadol. Al nisecho ve'al niflasecho ve'al yeshuasecho. Al nisecho ve'al niflasecho ve'al yeshuasecho. Chanukah Sameach.